just say let us continue this transmission with the continuance of your dialogues and questions, if you wish.
Hello, beloved Bashar.
And to you, good day. Just making sure you're all still awake. Speak up.
Okay. I have two questions. The first question is, given that we are all connected and one energy,
Yes.
all that is,
Yes.
do we have the ability to tap into another aspect of creation and perceive from that other aspect?
Yes. If it is relevant for the life you have chosen, to be able to do so.
So it's a way that we can literally, just as you were saying, you don't have a memory, you just get what you need when
Yes.
you need it.
Yes.
It's a way to actually do that.
That is one way, yes.
Okay.
Was that sufficient?
Yes.
All right.
Now let me remember what my other question was.
Well, you should know it when you need to know it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Do you know it?
I don't think I do. I think maybe that's good enough.
Are you sure?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
All right.
Up to you.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
My question for you is that in December of 2000, I was in Sedona and I had a very impactful experience. And while it was a lot of energy and light, it felt clear to me that it was alien in nature.
Oh, all right.
And I was impacted energetically and physically for weeks afterwards.
Yes.
My question is, you've said that your ship is above Sedona.
It is. I'm not the only one, but mine is too.
Thank you. And can you share with me if this was your people and what the purpose of this experience might have been?
The Sedona vortex is a very good reflective dimensional energy window or mirror to help magnify or amplify whatever it is your intentional focus is about. So if you brought in the intention to upgrade your frequency, upgrade your perspective and your energy, you were given an opportunity to become sensitive enough to pick up on the energy that is always being sent to all of you from very high dimensional levels, but which you're not always capable of perceiving. But if you upgrade yourself sufficiently, fine-tune your senses sufficiently to be able to do so, then you can receive the kind of an experience that you had.
So this was not necessarily from any particular alien group, but just the vortex itself?
No, what we're saying is the vortex is utilized that way to amplify, focus, and magnify the energy not only of the natural vortex, but of any connections you may have. Therefore, those on the other end may be very aware of the fact that they are also intentionalizing your experience from their point of view, but at the same time, it's a co-creation.
I see. Do you know who it was that may have been in contact with me through the vortex?
You are connected very strongly to the hybrid race known as the Yael.
The IL.
Yes.
Could you say a little bit about what my connection with them might be?
Well, you have a counterpart in their society.
And this counterpart, does he have a purpose in that society?
She does.
She does. Can you share with me a little bit about who she is?
Well, it has to do with the agenda to ultimately allow the hybrid children that are eventually going to live among you on Earth to begin to acclimate to your society a little bit more.
I'm not sure what to do with that.
You can put it in your pipe and smoke it.
I probably will.
All right. I figured you might.
Is there any way that I can make use of that information in my life presently?
Of course there is. When you consider the idea we have shared with you, what kind of a feeling or state of being comes over you? When you think of her, when you think of that connection, when you think even back to the experience that you had, that's an indication of a state of being that is more representative of a more aligned version of you. And in using that as a symbol, as a reminder of what state of being to come from in every action that you take, that can assist you in your life in that way to allow you to be more efficient in your application of that energy in the direction of the things that excite you. Yes?
Well, in that moment in 2000 in Sedona, it was a very bright, overwhelming...
Yes, I understand. It doesn't mean that you have to absolutely recreate in the same way that experience, because you are a different person now. You will not necessarily experience it the same way. But every time you think back to that experience and remember what it felt like, you are in that energy. In fact, as we have often said, the trick of this situation is that you actually have to be in that state to even remember that it happened. So once you remember it happened, you're already in that state. Even if it feels different than it did before, you're in the version of that state that is now relevant for the person you are at this moment. Know that and come from that state in all that you do, and your life will be experienced more synchronistically. Does that make sense? More smoking?
It does. I'm definitely going to need to listen to this recording.
If you say so. I wouldn't suggest that you smoke the recording.
No. I won't. Well, that kind of leads into my second question.
Yes.
Which is that, and this is a less formed question, it's a little vulnerable. A
little vulnerable?
It feels vulnerable.
Well,
yes.
Does that mean weakness or strength?
Strength.
Thank you.
I'm 45 and
you're a whippersnapper.
Thank you. And I really feel that deep evolutionary partnership has really eluded me thus far in my life, and it's something that's been a real missing, and it's something that I haven't fully understood.
Yes.
What is in the way?
Maybe nothing. Maybe your assumption that you need that is in the way.
Maybe.
So the idea is fulfill yourself and then allow, not make, not force, not need, allow the reflection to come of the fulfillment you have created within yourself.
I agree.
Understand?
Yes.
That's how it works.
Does my connection with this female counterpart have anything to do with my relationships in this reality?
It does. And you can use it that way to create an energy state within yourself that is a more appropriate reflection of what it is you would be able to attract.
Is there a particular practice that would serve that?
I already gave it to you.
Right.
Anytime you remember the experience you had, you're in the proper state. Be in the here and now with that and act from that state on all the things that are representative of your preserved self. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Does that help?
I think so.
And again, remember, any kind of practice is a permission slip, which you have the imagination to create for yourself, because the ones that seem most exciting in your imagination, any kind of ritual, technique, or tool that your imagination comes up with is a direct line of communication to your higher mind telling you that the reason that you're attracted to think of it this way is because this is what would work with your belief system right now. Yes. So you have the ability to invent your own permission slips, remembering, of course, all the time that you are your primary permission slip.
Yes.
Because the permission slips aren't really doing anything for you except allowing you to believe that they are, which allows you to actually do what you need to do. Does that make sense?
I think so.
All right. Yes?
The last question I have is simply, you spoke about how there are billions of realities happening simultaneously.
Well, there's an infinite number of realities happening simultaneously. The billions was a reference to the idea of how many parallel realities your consciousness is passing through per second to create the illusion of time.
Okay. So if time is an illusion...
Yes. It's a real experience.
Right.
But mechanically, it's an illusion.
Yes. What is all of that contained inside of?
Nothing.
Then what allows it to exist?
Everything.
all of the...
Remember, the idea you are speaking of, the question you are asking, what allows it to exist is a question within existence.
Yes.
Existence is not subject to time. Time is subject to existence. So the questions of what allows it simply goes back to existence is what is. Nothing allows it, it just is. That's its nature, that's its quality, that's its property. It doesn't need to be allowed to do anything. It is that which allows for everything.
And so inside of all of that...
There is no real inside, but we understand what you mean.
Within, yes.
There's no within, but we understand what you mean. There's no inside, there's no outside.
Okay.
It just is. Remember, the discussions of these things are being discussed in linear space-time language.
Yes.
The truth of it is, there's really nothing there to discuss. There's nothing that can be discussed. You can discuss the symbols of it, but not the thing itself, because the thing itself just is. Doesn't require any discussion. It just is. Is this making some sense?
Yes.
And so is there still a question?
There are multiple races.
Are you talking about on Earth? Or throughout creation?
Throughout creation.
Yes, of course.
And, for example, your race...
Yes.
Are there higher dimensional alien beings who are helping to guide your race?
Absolutely. One of our primary guides is the non-physical consciousness associated with the star system of Sirius.
And they're helping you evolve?
Absolutely. Just as someone is helping them, just as someone is helping them, just as someone is helping them, and on and on and on and on and on and on and on, forever. So there is no end to it.
Huh. Well, I'm done. Thank you.
Oh, all right. I guess there was an end to that.
Hi, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I wanted to ask some questions about history on Earth.
Yes.
But my first question, since everything is in the present,
Yes.
what is history?
History, again, is simply your perception of another existing now, but from a linear space-time perspective, which allows you to perceive it as if it was in the past. Mm-hmm. But all of that exists right now. Just look at it as a pile of alternate realities all coexisting simultaneously that you decide to focus on in such a linear way that it makes it look like one thing caused another, but they are actually completely disassociated from one another, completely. You're the one creating the continuity you call your history. And of course, remember, when you change who you are as a person and you change the reality you live in, you're changing your history as well. You may not always know that you have changed your history. Because if you are really creating a continuity of a reality and a new history that goes with it, the new history that goes with it will more likely than not, with a few exceptions, make itself appear to be the only history you've had in order to form a foundation for the reality that you're now experiencing. So 5 minutes ago, you may have had, literally, collectively, a completely different history, but you won't remember that because what you think of as history right now will seem to be the only history you've ever had. Is this making some sense?
Okay, yes. I'm going to have to get the tape, too.
All right.
The question I had about the history of religion,
Yes.
and gods and philosophy.
Yes.
Like, I know in ancient Egypt there were many gods. And then
Well, there were many representations of the idea of all that is, yes.
Okay, so in Africa also, like,
Yes.
there's
Well, they're all true. Because you cannot imagine something that is not part of all that is. So anyone who wants to say, well, this is a representation of God and this is a representation of God, both are correct.
Okay.
There's no contradiction there.
Okay. So when in Buddhism, they talk about the gods of the sun, and
Yes.
the moon, and the stars.
But again, you are creating representations, interpretations in your linear understanding of symbols that work for you to represent the vibrational energy of an aspect of creation that you're calling a god. It's just language.
Oh, okay. And these exist.
They all exist.
Within ourselves also, because we're all one, right?
They exist,
Within.
yes. Again,
the-
everything exists within, just to use that word again, because there really is no without.
Thank you, Bashar.
Does that make sense?
Yes. it
All right.
does.
Thank you.
Okay. Just one more thing I wanted to say. This
Yes.
voice challenge that I've been having for many years, I feel like through breath work, I'm learning more to heal it
All right.
through my breath.
Then good luck on your process and congratulations for your challenges.
Okay. Thank you, Bashar.
Our love to you. Of course, there really is no luck. It's just the choices that you make.
Hi, Bashar.
And you good day.
I just want to say on behalf of everyone that can't be here in person from Australia, New Zealand, and everywhere else, thank you.
All right.
You've made a difference to so many people's lives.
We thank you.
My excitement is to be a guide and a teacher and an acclimator for the hybrid children making their way to the earth to blend and to learn. And
All right.
what I can actually act on now is to prepare myself and
All right.
to understand what are their challenges going to be when they're here. They've got such technology, or I assume, to know so many things, but I heard you say before that even just understanding how does the postage system work, simple things like that
Yes,
might be
well,
relevant.
even people on your planet have difficulty with that. You must understand that even though they are in many ways highly advanced, you are truly an alien culture to them. Therefore, some of the things you do that you take for granted because you've been raised to take them for granted seem extremely unusual to them. Such simple things as, why do you eat food on a plate? Why do you need a fork? Can't you just eat it with your hands? You can, sometimes, but other times it's considered rude. Well, that's very confusing to them because it sounds contradictory. Well, when do you know if it's rude? And what is rude anyway? Do you understand
Yes,
how
I do.
this can get very complex for them? They really are very alien to you in terms of your culture. Therefore, they need a lot of acclimation, a lot of guidance, a lot of training. That's why some of them, some of the ones that have actually progressed a little bit farther than others, are actually temporarily living among you because they have learned enough to see if they actually fit in. Sometimes you will recognize them, sometimes you won't. Some of them actually have apartments.
Okay.
They are procured for them by those who oversee them, which is another hybrid race altogether, and act as their guides and act as, in a sense, their protectors on Earth. They acquire things for them because they have more familiarity with what's going on your planet and help them learn how to go through what would be considered a typical daily life on your planet. Now, that doesn't mean that they have to do everything that you do, because certainly they have their own culture as well. And some of that will blend into your society over time, which is the beginning of the creation of the sixth hybrid race on your planet. Nevertheless, they don't really want to stand out that much from you. They want to be accepted as family. They want to accept you as family. And so they are doing their best to sort of meet you halfway. But there will be some unusual things about them that you will enjoy.
In terms of meeting them halfway, I understand that there might be some eating habits and a whole bunch of things that we do that might be a bit disgusting even. I think this is a word you've used before. in terms of their tolerance and their patience and their willingness to fit into our way of being, how can I meet them halfway? Are there certain things that we can change about ourselves, like yourself is trained as a first contact specialist to ease the path?
Yes.
Is there certain things I can do to change myself to kind of meet them halfway?
Well, again, it all comes down to acting on your highest joy to the best of your ability with no insistence on a particular outcome, because that increases your frequency to the point where you are capable of receiving the imaginations and the inspirations to do what you need to do, because you're already existing on that level, you already have that intention, and therefore the ideas will come. It's important for you to understand that every single circumstance, every single situation actually has, though not a built-in meaning, a built-in structure. So when you go about manifesting and creating with your imagination, your creativity, a circumstance, an idea, a situation, an opportunity, there is a built-in structure that then can automatically unfold. You don't have to do that much once you have used your creativity to set up a certain circumstance. The structure that's inherent within it will allow that to flow into your reality along that structural guide path, and it will fit as it needs to fit naturally. So you don't have to do so much engineering. You just have to sort of creatively make space by creating the fundamental circumstance or situation that's even sometimes just symbolically representative of a reality. In other words, mock it up.
Got it.
Physically mock up what you think it would look like. The closer you can get to what you perceive as an actual physical reality version of it, again, not that you have to insist it must look that way, but the closer you can ground your vision into actual physical action, even if you are, in a sense, mocking it up, creating a simulation that does carry a certain vibratory frequency to your mind. And when you create that vibratory frequency and immerse yourself in what you might call a real physical virtual reality representation of an idea, then your body consciousness starts to actually respond to it as if it is actually real. Remember, when your brain perceives that the information you're receiving is actually real, it retains up to 60 to 70% more of the information than when it knows, in a sense, that it's a simulation. So the more real you can make it, putting things where you believe they would be, interacting with physical things in the way you believe you would be interacting with things should they happen that way, the more you are training your body consciousness to get used to that reality, and the more it goes into alignment with that imagination vibration, and it starts to synchronize, and it more synchronistically can manifest a reality that is at least somewhat symbolically representative, at least very closely, to what it is you have mocked up. So that's one way to do it. Does this help?
That's perfect, thank you.
Does this sound like fun?
It already is fun. It's amazing. You've talked about the economic system, potentially the future of an individual's worth being valued rather than a currency transaction.
Eventually.
I didn't quite understand what that means. Obviously, like teachers in Australia anyway are quite, in my belief system, undervalued. They're paid less.
Yes.
I don't understand what you mean by the worth of the individual will be valued instead of monetary.
What is the value of someone being able to teach you something that you truly need in life to accomplish what you wish? What is that value?
It's priceless in my estimation.
Exactly. So when everyone is priceless, you'll all be abundant. You'll all have the ability to share whatever it is you need to share and receive whatever it is you need to receive because of the synchronicity that will then be paramount in bringing together those that need what others have and vice versa.
I understand. Okay.
Does that make sense?
So the synchronicity will be much more present and people will give and receive as they need. And it's less...
Synchronicity will be the currency.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
One last question.
Yes.
In Australia, I understand that Ayers Rock or Uluru is a chakra or a strong vortices. Is there others strong vortices on the east coast of Australia?
Yes, what about it?
What are the locations of what they? Where
the major one is what you call Ayers Rock, yes.
Other than that, on the east coast, so Byron Bay or Sydney or Melbourne, are there other strong vortices?
Of course there are. There are many. But the primary one is in the center.
Okay, right.
The others take their cue from that.
Okay.
Yes?
Thanks, Bashar.
Thank you.
Much love.
And to you.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
This might sound kind of silly.
Oh, all right. Let's
But-
hope so.
Okay, good. Since I've just thought of saying this to you
Yes.
for some time.
Yes, yes, yes.
When I really appreciate when you take the letter H from the end of the word Earth in the
Yes.
English language, and put it at the beginning.
Yes.
It makes the word heart.
Yes.
And I really appreciate that.
Well, I thank you for appreciating that. There are many, many lessons to be learned in the structure of your language. When you play with it, you will see how you may have even unconsciously put a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom built into the language itself if you just know how to look at it a little differently.
Like the word friendship.
Yes. Like many different kinds of words. But if you play with it, with your imagination, you find all sorts of insights and awarenesses that are built into the structure of the language that are there ready to be discovered.
Sweet.
Yes.
Another thing, a few years ago, I got really sick.
Yes.
And I found myself mumbling a word.
Yes.
And it sounded really interesting. So I looked it up,
Yes.
and it turns out to be a location.
Which is what?
Tikal.
Yes, Tikal, yes.
Why would I get that?
Because you have connections to that era, that idea is what you classically call a past life connection. Oh. And so you're drawing upon that for the wisdom and the knowledge that you need for certain things in your life, in the exploration of your theme.
Cool.
So investigate it however you are curious to do so.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Can I ask one more question?
That was a question.
Okay. My older brother used to sleepwalk.
Yes.
And he would actually come out of his room with his eyes wide open. I didn't know
Yes.
he was sleepwalking.
Yes.
And have a full conversation.
Yes.
And it felt like it was I talking to someone, a different being?
Well, you were talking to a different aspect of his being,
Okay. It was weird.
if you say so.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
You are welcome.
Take care.
Okay. Where should I take it?
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
Thank you so much for always information. It helps me a lot.
All right. Thank you for making the information your own so that you can help yourself.
Okay. I have a question. Do you know about tachyon energy? in
Yes,
the
we
universe?
understand. Many of the people on your planet that think they're using tachyon energy are not really doing it in a way that makes much difference. The technology to tap into the idea of tachyon energy is quite different than what many people on your planet are doing. Now, it doesn't mean you can't access tachyon energy yourself. So what they're really doing is simply creating a permission slip that allows you personally on a biological level to open up to using tachyon energy more efficiently. But the devices themselves are not really a technology that takes advantage of processing tachyon energy. They're permission slips that gives you more permission to use the tachyon energy yourself.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And I saw the picture. It calls light mandala, and that's a machine using crystal and light.
Yes.
And put some patterns on the skin.
Again, this is another permission slip.
Right.
You understand this concept, yes?
Yes, I understand that.
So use whatever permission slip you believe works for
Okay.
you.
Thank you so
It's as
much.
simple as that.
Right. Okay. And yesterday,
Yes.
one of my best friend
Yes.
passed away.
Oh, all right.
Right after that,
Yes.
I felt like he chose to leave this earth, and
Yes.
then he's still enjoying his journey. Even though he passed away.
Well, of course he is enjoying his journey.
Right.
And the timing of these things is usually because then it turns your attention toward the spirit world to pull you along up the ladder to increase your vibration because you wish to reach out to that person. So it expands your senses and you can learn to still communicate with them. Just because they're in spirit doesn't mean they're not still part of your life. It doesn't mean you can't learn to communicate with them. So now your attention is turned toward the idea of the spirit realm, and you can allow yourself to let that energy into your system so that you can become more sensitive to communications from your friend and from the spirit level.
Okay.
This is often why people will die at certain times to bring your attention forward into the spirit world because it helps you. It helps you on your journey.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Okay. And then
Yes?
I am dancer.
Yes?
I've been working many years as a dancer.
Is this your excitement? Or at
Yes.
least one expression of it? Yes? This is one expression of your excitement?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And I'm following my passion.
Yes? And so?
And so many synchronicity happens.
Yes, of course. That's what happens when you follow your passion.
Yes.
Synchronicity increases.
Yes. And
Yes?
I just want to share my experience. Like
Yes?
before, I couldn't imagine I can eat and live and,
Yes.
being dancing, being artist.
now
and
you
doing-
can.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Thank you so much. It is important to understand that being yourself works. The most difficult thing you can possibly do in your life is try to be someone you're not. So stop resisting who you are. Let life work. Allow it to work. Isn't that right, Nania?
How did you know?
What do you mean, how did I know? I know because I let life work.
Oh, that's a little spooky.
Oh, spooky Bashar. All right. Well, it is approaching your Halloween. So time to be a little bit spooky.
Well,
Ooh.
I have to admit, sometimes I'm haunted by you.
Aliens. Oh, wait. Alien ghosts. Even spookier.
You're so funny.
Oh, wait. Funny alien ghosts. All right, not so spooky.
Yeah, spooky funny.
Oh, all right. More spoofy.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
So we have some Ustream questions.
Yes.
How do I stay calm during a contact experience? Yikes.
When you are in the proper state, calmness will be automatic. It'll be part of the experience because you will be ready, truly ready. So it's built in.
So how about all the people that get like freaked out and they run away?
They're not ready.
Oh, I see. So there's nothing you can do to stay calm? I mean...
Yes, be in the proper state. And you already all know how to get into the proper state.
Go to Arizona?
Like father, like daughter. Now who's being spoofy? And by the way,
Yes.
yes. That's one of the states because that's the state our ship is above.
That's right. In fact, somebody wanted to know how many miles above are you these days?
853. You want me to go back up?
Well, that's a good sign, isn't it?
If you say so.
Yes, it's a good sign.
Thank you.
I was just Let's see what else we have here. Do your people breathe in the same way that we do?
Sort of. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Although we take in more oxygen and accelerate the energy in the oxygen in a very different way than you do. It creates a much stronger electromagnetic field around our bodies. And the electromagnetic field is partly how we breathe. You too, but you don't know that yet.
Would your physiology seem really alien to us?
It would seem a bit unusual. Because remember, we do not eat, we do not sleep. Therefore, we don't really have the same internal configurations anymore that we used to. Therefore, we are evolving, as we say, into quasi-physical beings who don't necessarily express many of the same physiological functions and therefore have no need to experience the idea of the way you experience your bodies. We used to, but no longer.
But some of the others, like the Yael, their bodies would be more physiologically similar to ours? Or
Some of them, not all of them.
the hybrids?
The hybrid children certainly will be more similar to you.
Okay.
Hence their ability to live among you more easily.
Someone else wanted to know, do the hybrid children cry?
Some have been known to.
So unlike your species, they actually can feel sadness.
Yes.
And
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
does that mean like all their markers aren't turned on then?
In a sense, but you must understand they have slightly different markers. They are still a different species. And they process things in a slightly different way. And the reasons they may cry are not necessarily aligned with all the same reasons in which you may cry.
That's right, because when your children never cry, right?
No.
But the physiological release
Yes.
is a positive behavior, wouldn't you say? Or
Within
is
the
it
hybrid children, yes, but it's unnecessary
For
within
yours.
ours.
okay? So for them, like we also cry when we laugh really hard too.
Yes.
So it's very potent part of our physiological
Yes.
change.
But we experience it differently. Again, it has to do with vibrations in our electromagnetic field.
yeah, I mean, but as far as like the hybrid children,
Well, a little bit, yes, but they're
Okay.
more like you.
so
They will still have expressions you will recognize as human emotions to some degree.
oh well, they seem more muted than ours, or more
Depends.
neutral.
It depends. It depends.
Okay.
It depends.
Okay.
It depends.
All right. Well, we'll just keep on moving along here.
Yes.
And how many civilizations live in our universe? And
in the
our
universe?
I just read the questions.
We are aware. We are aware. Now, this doesn't mean we've met them all. We are aware through communications of approximately 65 million civilizations. Now, this encompasses many different galaxies and many different communications with many different species who themselves may or may not have met some of these other civilizations. So that is what we are aware of at this moment. Of course, there are obviously many, 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 many more.
Yeah, it's kind of like the ocean. It's just filled with life, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is. And of course, it also depends on what you mean by a civilization, because there are many interpretations of that idea. But we have given you a number that is at least representative of something that is close to what you would also somewhat recognize as a civilization of sorts. So that number represents something that you would be somewhat familiar with or capable of recognizing as such. There are many, many quote-unquote civilizations you wouldn't even recognize as civilizations.
It's quite a universe.
And it's not the only universe. There is a
Right,
multiverse.
there's a multiverse, yeah. Like, there's a lot of
So,
stuff.
the true answer, in a sense, therefore, would be actually there are an infinite number
Right.
of civilizations. But that wouldn't necessarily give you a practical understanding of what might be local, so to speak.
So another person wanted to know, will you and your team be part of the first contact crew to come?
No. The Sasani people will be the third hybrid civilization you will meet, not the first. The Yael are the first hybrid civilization, which doesn't mean they're the first civilization, just the first hybrid civilization to make open contact with you, but we will be the third.
And then on another topic, someone asked, is the chance of a female president still 88%?
Give or take. Yes, give or take.
Okay. And probably lastly,
Yes.
where does writer's block come from, and how can a person overcome it?
Writer's block comes from inflexibility with what's happening and assumption and expectation of what needs to happen instead of exploring why the writer's block is there. Because it isn't really a block. It's an arrow pointing in an unexpected direction. And if nothing else, if you experience what you call writer's block, write about the writer's block and then you won't be blocked.
That's very clever.
We have been known to be so from time to time.
Yes, you have.
Is it time for your break and your holotope?
Well, could someone tell me what time it is right now? Oh, so actually, we have about 20 minutes left. If you're up
you have
for
about
it.
15.
Okay, so how many names would you like me to pull?
You may pull one at the moment.
All right. Maria Turnout. Yes.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you.
Making sure you're all awake. Good morning.
A couple of years ago now, it was an extraordinary night. It was just so beautiful. I was enjoying myself immensely. I'm driving over the hill down into the valley here in California, top down, and I look up.
Your top was down?
My convertible.
You said you were enjoying yourself immensely.
My convertible.
Oh, all right.
And I look up.
You have a convertible top. What does it change into?
A convertible car.
Oh, all right.
Yes. I look up.
Yes.
And there's two massive globes in the sky. And I'm saying to my friend that was sitting beside me, look, look, look. And nobody seemed to see it. And I'm looking up, and they're zipping up and down and around. And, and then as I'm saying, look, shoom, they shoot straight up and disappear.
Yes.
And
this is quite common.
And but that week, I became very almost ill, and I very seldom become ill.
Because you were processing higher level energies and weren't used to that yet. You had to stretch to accommodate them and get used to that frequency. There was some resistance just because of the way that you're used to thinking of these things. You just had to let go of the old paradigm, that's all. It helped stretch you out.
Okay. And in helping me stretch out, how did that change me?
It opened up new paths for you to expand your senses and act more in alignment with your true frequency.
Okay.
And so, what are you doing with that experience?
A whole lot more research.
Into?
Higher dimensions, I guess.
All right.
Becoming more.
Is that fun?
Oh, it's tons of fun.
All right. So it inspired you.
Yes, very much.
To go more deeply into that subject, yes?
Yes.
Well, that's exactly what happened for the channel. So look where you could wind up.
So
maybe, maybe not.
Because energy runs both ways.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. It's hyperconductive, not just superconductive. Goes in a multitude of directions simultaneously.
Oh.
Okay.
So when I see them again,
if you do,
I did a couple of weeks later.
When you saw them again.
When I saw them again,
Yes.
I was lying under a tree looking up at a meditation
what lies
retreat.
were you telling?
I was enjoying myself, lying in the grass underneath a tree.
There she goes enjoying herself immensely.
I do. And I look up, and the two of them zipped across the sky again.
Yes.
And it was, I had just been meditating.
Yes. So
is that confirmation?
Well, again, the idea is that you allowed your frequency to allow your senses to perceive what to most people are invisible, because you're expanding your senses. If that's the experience you had, that's what it represents.
So just keep doing what I'm doing.
Just keep acting on your highest excitement and your senses will keep expanding appropriately.
And
Yes.
related to that, maybe,
Yes.
maybe not.
Yes, yes, yes.
When I take pictures, with different cameras,
Yes.
this small green kind of orb.
Sometimes your technology can pick up on interdimensional kinds of other energies.
So
It can be representative of a spirit. It can be representative of a probe. It can be representative of simply natural energy formations and phenomenology. It can be representative of many different things. You would have to take it on a case-by-case basis.
okay,
Does that help?
it does.
Anything else?
Probably, but I just can't think right now.
All right.
Of
Well,
what?
then please be off and enjoy your globes immensely.
Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.
Can I draw another name?
One.
Aga la Magica? Come on now.
A real say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right, now, first and foremost, allow us once again to thank each and every one of you, and all of you together collectively, for the co-creation of this interaction. Once again, each and every time you are willing to co-create these interactions with us, it forms a bridge, a link, and a connection between our reality and yours, so that we can, together, more and more every day in every way, create a third new reality in which we can both interact in new ways. So we thank you for the gift that you have given to us of sharing. We would like to begin this idea, this transmission, this night of your time, by discussing something that we have labeled debunking the debunkers, talking about the gullible, the skeptical, the cynical. The idea has been expressed many times on your planet that there are unusual phenomenology that occur from time to time that many individuals on your planet either do believe or do not believe are occurring. Obviously, there are certain things that are perhaps misinterpretations of certain things. This can happen, obviously. Not every single thing that someone may think is a certain thing is a certain thing. Nevertheless, the idea of finding balance within your investigations and your relation to the idea of unusual phenomenon in your world is one that requires a clear, concise approach to remain in balance. And the idea is that what you call being skeptical is in and of itself a natural, healthy point of view, especially for your world, where there are so many deceptions that may occur on your planet, so many different agendas that may occur, and that individuals may wish to take advantage of others. Therefore, remaining skeptical can, in your world, be a healthy thing to do. However, the idea is that skepticism, by definition, is an open-minded state of a willingness to explore something, a willingness to look at what you call evidence, a willingness to understand your relationship to it, your personal relationship to it, and a willingness to allow for a new belief to come in, to challenge the old belief you may have been holding on to. Not the idea that you must change your belief, but a willingness to allow for the possibility that your beliefs, be they long held or cherished, may nevertheless require some change. The idea, of course, is that on polar opposite sides of the balance point of skepticism are the issues of gullibility and cynicism. We have said once before that cynicism, the formula for cynicism is CIA. Cynicism equals ignorance plus arrogance. Now, the understanding is that unlike the idea of open-minded skepticism, where you are willing to investigate, willing to take in new information, open to the possibility of changing your point of view, cynicism is that which has its mind made up, has a belief system and an agenda totally intact, and is unwilling to change. The idea being, therefore, that cynicism dismisses any new ideas that may challenge the paradigm that exists within. Gullibility, for most of you, means being open to accepting just about anything without any kind of filtration system, without any kind of discernment. The idea, however, is to recognize a fascinating fact about the polar opposites of gullibility and cynicism. They are not polar opposites. They are different versions of the same thing. Gullibility also has cynicism within it. Cynicism also contains a great degree of gullibility. Allow us to explain. The fundamental similarity between gullibility and cynicism is the same issue. I believe what I believe, and nothing will change that despite any evidence to the contrary. The gullible, in accepting everything without any kind of discernment, are actually saying the same thing. I have a belief system that I do not want to change no matter what. It's the same thing that the cynics say. I have a belief system I do not want to change no matter what. The gullibility inherent in cynicism is this. When a cynic often looks at the so-called are actually investigating the true evidence, the true story, may simply be gullibly accepting the folk tale and using that and dismissing that as if they are dismissing true scientific evidence, when in fact all they're doing is saying the folk tale may not be actually representative of what's actually going on, and therefore because the folk tale is not true, the reality must also not exist. And so, by saying that, by approaching it that way, the cynic has actually gullibly swallowed the general folk tale that has been put forth by individuals who may in fact be gullible. So in that sense, the gullible and the cynical have a connected relationship, a marriage of sorts, and they feed off each other, all pushing away from each other in that sense, leaving the idea of skepticism in the center. So all we are basically suggesting here is that you, in your investigation of anything that you may hear that seems unusual in your world, allow yourselves to remain in the center, in balance with your investigation as to whether or not it means something to you, whether or not it ought to be incorporated into your belief system structure, whether or not it really serves you in a positive, beneficial way, and allow yourself to maintain a sense of discernment as to what is and what is not appropriate for you. Now, of course, we understand there are many different points of view, many different belief systems, and for each and every individual, whatever belief system they are holding to be true for themselves at any given moment is true for them at that moment, even if it seems contradictory to another. But the only reason we are discussing the issues of gullibility and cynicism in this context is because very often the idea of those who are gullible and accept everything and those who are cynical and accept nothing often attempt to push that point of view on others. So if you are going to have a particular point of view that you believe is contradictory to anyone else's point of view, by all means, you are entitled to create that for yourself. But understand, you are not entitled to create that for anyone else. The idea is that each and every single one of you have the power, have the given gift to decide what is true for you, but do not have the ability to decide what is true for anyone else. Therefore, in the idea of accepting what is true for you as being all well and good, the idea, therefore, of communicating it to another is where the idea of balanced skepticism comes into play, in that when you transmit information that you may feel is true for you and would never likely change, the idea of sharing that to be balanced always comes with the allowance that whoever you are sharing that point of view with does not in any way, shape, or form need to believe you. And that's not what it's about. Sharing the idea of a point of view is an opportunity to give someone an option to consider another idea, another belief, another point of view. But it is only an option. It is only a sharing. It is only an opportunity to decide for themselves whether your point of view works for them, whether it's something they can form a consensus agreement upon. But no one really needs to do that. In fact, as we have stressed several times, none of you even need to believe anything we have just said. This is our point of view. This is our perspective. This is our understanding from our civilization based on our experience, our evolution, and what works for us. Now, yes, it is true. There are some general consensus ideas and beliefs that are common to almost everyone on your planet. These are the things you have already created a consensus agreement about that are put on, shall we say, automatic pilot, so you don't have to really think about them day to day. You can get on about the business of simply living your life without having to think about the idea of whether gravity is suddenly going to cancel on you. That's a consensus agreement that there is such a thing as gravity. Nevertheless, obviously, in this day and age of exploring consciousness and beginning to realize that physical reality is only an illusion and that you create whatever you are experiencing it to be, many individuals are beginning to explore and examine the possibility that gravity may not necessarily be such a given. That solidity may not necessarily be so solid. That things are malleable, that space-time can be flexible, stretched, bent, altered, and experienced in a new way. And the more you allow your vibrations to focus on these things, the more you will synchronistically experience the results of that point of view, of course. Because this is the general consensus you have all agreed to explore, especially in this lifetime. The idea of the expansion of consciousness, which then brings the realization that physical reality is nothing but your game, your creation, your illusion, your experience. Physical reality itself, as we have said several times, is not unto itself a real, solid thing outside you. The experience of physical reality is real, but not the physical reality itself. It's just a mirror. Nevertheless, you have, to a great degree, created some consensus reality. But as that changes for several individuals, as there is created new points of view, and as there is consensus even among small groups about different points of view from the general consensus, new bubble realities are thus then created within the overall consensus agreement. As time goes on, as you proceed in your investigation of things that have historically been considered unusual, unbelievable, unreal, and start to find out that many of them in fact are real, are very believable, are in fact extremely experienceable by each and every one of you, you will thus then imbue the general consensus reality with more and more vibrations that are representative of more people's ability to see some of those unusual things actually come to pass, come to fruition, become more concrete, more stable, more experiential. That will happen over the course of time as you create time to exist. But nevertheless, in this transitional timing that's going on now on your planet, when each and every one of you are really busy about the experience of deciding what is true for you and what kind of a reality you really wish to experience your life to be, as you redefine yourselves, find out what you have been labeling things as and change those labels to suit the idea of your true, natural, joyful selves, which is available to you all without exception. As you go through this process, all that we are suggesting to you that has worked for us is that you allow yourself to be open to the possibility that as you adopt new beliefs, that those beliefs in and of themselves are no more capable of becoming concrete than you wish them to be, and that they themselves are always open to change as you gain new understanding and new perspectives of yourself as an aspect of creation. So, if you wish to experience the idea of gullibility and accept everything, as you say, willy-nilly, that's your choice. But it will allow you to take a longer time to create for yourself the ability to discern what actually works best for you and what does not. If you wish to create the idea of a cynical point of view, be our guest. You are entitled to create that if you wish. But again, from our experience, we simply caution you that it will allow you to create more time in which to create the reality of your preference. Only the balance point is the thing from our experience that allows you to create the reality you prefer in an ever flexible, ever changing, rapidly accelerating manner. So it's up to you to decide what you prefer. Doing it slowly, doing it quickly, doing it in between at a pace that is comfortable for you. It's up to you. But recognize simply that all of it is your creation. All of it. And that every point of view is valid, but there are always consequences to the choices you make, mechanically speaking. Of course, many of you understand that when we say consequences, we are not discussing the issue of punishment or anything like the idea of negative judgment. We are simply talking physics, mechanically. There is always a reaction to every action. And therefore, it's about gaining more discernment about what the consequences are mechanically for every action that you take, for every stance that you take, for every state of being you choose to be in. The idea, therefore, is to allow yourselves to recognize that you can make choices that will determine what kind of experience you have. And if you are not enjoying the experience you are having, you can allow that to change by making different choices. It's really as simple as that. I know that for many of you it doesn't seem to be that easy because you have a difficult time figuring out how to get in touch with what choices you're already making that are creating the experiences you say you don't want. But nevertheless, it's actually a relatively simple thing to do. All you have to do is get in touch with the thing that you are using to define, the label you are using to define any particular experience that you are having. And once you get a handle, as you say, once you make transparent the label you have been using, whether consciously or unconsciously, to define the reality that you are experiencing, it will become clear why you have been experiencing the things that you have. Because as you label a thing, so thus then does the consequence issue therefrom and give you that experience. What you put out is what you get back, as we have said many times and call the third law of creation. Therefore, balance is the key, literally, that will unlock all perspectives to you and give you the discernment to decide. Even if it's through the auspices of figuring out what you are not, to decide what it is you truly prefer to be. Many people on your planet will take that route. They will explore many things. They will find that it will allow certain kinds of negative experiences to happen in their lives, but that may simply be their way of exploring what they are not to more clearly define what they are. And when you choose to go from the darkness to the light, in that sense, when you choose to balance yourself out, then by having gone into the darkness to define what you are not, it may be that much simpler for you to define what you are and that much easier to go into the light and create realities of your preferential choice that are in alignment with your true core self. Is this making some sense to you?
Yes.
All right. So, the idea, therefore, to simply sum up the issue of debunking the debunkers is to pay attention to the fact that when individuals seek to debunk, they are often themselves simply afraid to look at new ideas, new things. When an individual is also gullible enough to accept everything without discernment, it is also the same issue. They are afraid to see something else that they think will be something unacceptable, something distasteful, something to be feared. You may have that experience, but none of it is empirically true. There is nothing to fear in anything that you will discover. Every single thing you will investigate, every single thing, the deepest fear, the greatest joy, every single thing that you will investigate, you will always, I guarantee you, discover simply more of yourself, more of your true core being, because that's all there is to discover. However, as we said, you do not need to take our word for it. We know it works from our experience, and many of you know it works from your experience. All of you have the ability to experience it for yourselves, and we will leave it up to you to choose to do so if you wish. Say good day to you this day of your time, and how are you all? All right. We thank you once again for allowing this communication, this transmission to occur in this manner, through this window, at this time, in this way. Once again, each and every time, you allow our civilization to interact with your civilization in this manner. It affords our world an opportunity to see through each and every one of your eyes a new way, a different way, an additional way that the universe has of expressing itself, and this expands our understanding of creation as well. So we thank you for this gift of sharing. We would like to begin this transmission, this day of your time, with a light subject that we will call denial, separation, and projection. Now, the idea is to understand that negative belief systems, that is, belief systems that may be incorporated into your personality, into your consciousness, that are, shall we say, against the grain of your true self, out of alignment with your true self, out of alignment with your joy, out of alignment with your love, in alignment with your fear, belief systems of that nature, for lack of a better term, let's term them negative, mechanically, because negative energy separates, segregates, compartmentalizes, as opposed to positive energy, which integrates and makes whole. That is the mechanical definition, positive and negative energy. Belief systems, then, that your personality may have been fed since childhood, that may still be with you in your consciousness, may allow you then to experience the idea of fear. And in experiencing the idea of fear, it brings with it many times an inability to recognize what is going on in your consciousness. It has, in a sense, separated you from awareness of yourself. And thus then, when you encounter circumstances and situations in life that may interact with those belief systems, or more euphemistically, as you put it in your language, that push your buttons, you then may find yourself, rather than being aware of what the belief is that is causing the reaction within you that is negative, you may simply go into the idea called denial, which is simply lack of awareness of yourself. And you may then, because you are compounding the negative energy, go into further negative energy, which would be separation. And in the energy of denial, and in the energy of separation, because it is separate from yourself, or seems to be, you will then project the idea of the causation of this feeling outward, beyond yourself, not in yourself. You will project onto others, blame other situations for what you are experiencing, rather than accepting the responsibility for the feeling, for the experience, based on the belief systems going on within you. Now, this does not mean that you cannot recognize and cannot acknowledge when someone else might in fact be acting out of integrity, might in fact be negatively attacking you or doing something hurtful intentionally. This does not mean you cannot recognize what their actions are based on. But depending upon the clarity that you have within your own consciousness, depending upon the level of awareness you have about what belief systems you yourself have bought into, you can, regardless of anyone else's intention, you can utterly determine the effect you experience in your life. You do not have to react to any given situation or circumstance in any particular way. You can decide how you will use the information, how will you use the idea in your lives, how you will integrate the information. You can decide to experience it in a positive way, to get a positive effect out of it, regardless of what they may have intended, consciously or unconsciously. All you have to do, first of all, is recognize that if you do start to react and attack back, that is simply the mechanism of separation, of projection, based on denial or lack of awareness of the negative belief systems that you may have bought into that are perched within your unconscious self. All you have to do is get in touch with what those negative definitions, those fear definitions, might be. The idea, thus, then, is that this concept, this three-part concept, denial, separation, projection, is another tool that you can use to give yourself a moment of pause in any circumstance and to be more consciously aware of what the choices are for you in terms of how you will interact and how you will respond rather than react to any given circumstance, and thus allow your life, your energy, your experience of the interaction, of the event, of the exchange, to be one that works for you in a positive way, again, regardless of what anyone else's intention, consciously or unconsciously, might have been. Because the choice and the power and the control, in that sense, is always in your hands. And reactions are usually, in the negative sense, only based on the fact that you have incorporated within you belief systems that are out of alignment with your truth, your joy, your love, and are in alignment with your fear, your doubt. And remember, fear is your own energy. What you experience as the sensation of fear is your own energy. And it is exactly the same energy as the energy you experience when you experience love and joy. It is exactly the same energy, but it is a different frequency of that energy. Why is it a different frequency? Because when you flow or channel your energy through your personality, through your consciousness, and your consciousness has a negative belief system within it that it's out of alignment with your truth, that energy will be experienced as the sensation you call fear. When you experience your energy or channel your energy through positive belief systems, you will experience the same energy as the frequency of joy and love. But this is also a very powerful tool, because it can help put you in touch with where you're at, what kind of belief systems you have. Because if you find yourself experiencing fear, that can tell you you have a belief system that needs looking at, that needs clarifying. We have many times, and many of you have heard this, use the analogy of the instrument on your planet you call the piano. If you are playing a wonderful song that you love, and all of a sudden you hit a flat note, a sour note, you do not run away from the piano screaming, vowing never to play it again, usually. You will simply say to yourself, that key needs to be tuned, to be brought back into harmony with the rest of the keys. That's what fear is. It's simply a flat key. It is simply letting you know you have a belief system that your energy is channeling through that results in this frequency. If you want to bring that key back into harmony with the rest of your beliefs, then use it to find out what kind of a belief system you would have to believe, what kind of idea you would have to buy into, what kind of perspective you would have to hold to be true in order to experience that kind of a reaction. Once you use your fear in that way, it will automatically transform, more or less quickly, into curiosity and imagination. And you will be able to use that energy to delve into yourself and find out what that belief system is, and then change it into a definition you prefer, which then, by doing, will automatically replace the old one. Why? Because you said so, that's why. No more complicated than that. No extra process needed, unless you insist on one, but that's your choice. But when you replace it, when you invent, when you imagine a new definition, and you believe in it wholeheartedly, and you act like you believe in it wholeheartedly, then your life will reflect that belief to you, and you will see the fear transform, and you will see the reality transform. But again, I remind you, as I always will when this point comes up, it must be an unconditional change. You must change the belief because that's who you say you are, not because of what you think it will get you. Yes, I will be happy if this happens. I will be happy when this happens. Yes, I will change my belief because I know it will change my reality to look like this or look like that. That's conditional. It needs to be unconditional, which means you need to change the belief and live in the state you prefer to live just because that's who you say you are, even if nothing else were to change. You see, the mark, the measure, the symbol of whether or not you have really, really changed is that you start to respond differently, more positively to what's going on outside around you, even if what's going on outside around you stays the same. It is not the mark of change that your outside world changes. It will, but only after you don't care if it does. That's the paradox. You have to change for change's sake, for your own sake, because the change is representative of simply who you are, and that's it. Not because of what you think it will do, or who you think it will change, or what you think it will get you. That's conditional, and this whole idea is about unconditional love, first of yourself, because if you don't love yourself unconditionally, you can't love anyone else really. And then the outward expression of that unconditional love toward your life, toward everyone in your life, toward everything and everyone and all that is. This idea also goes hand in hand with a side concept we would like to address that we would like to call ground floor spirituality. The idea is to keep your spirituality simple, obvious, evident, plain, everyday, immediate, here and now. Not allowed to get too lofty in the sense of moving away from physical reality. As you simply live your physical life to the fullest and be who you are as best as you can be, you will become, in a sense, more aligned with your spiritual side. You will elevate your vibration, your frequency. It's not about detaching from physical reality. It's about incorporating and integrating spirituality and physicality into one, all-embracing life, embracing action, being, doing, saying. An example. There is, in the structure that you are all now sitting near, what you call the building, in what you call one of the upstairs bathrooms, there are 3 signs. One sign says, the greatest thing is to learn to know oneself. The other sign says, a prayer for serenity, asking for serenity to know what you need to accept, courage to change things that can be changed, wisdom to know the difference. Most of you are familiar with that. But the third sign says, put only toilet paper in the toilet. This is the essence of ground floor spirituality. That which belongs to that which belongs. that which is correct for that which is correct and appropriate. To a Zen master, the third sign would be the most spiritual sign. The adherence to the third sign automatically and instinctively, for example, would be a sign that the other two signs had already been fulfilled. Because you automatically simply would know what belongs where, without having to be told. You get the point? All right. Now then, we will take this opportunity once again to thank each and every one of you for allowing this exchange to take place. And once again, in return for the gift that you are giving to our society, I ask, in what way may I now be of service to you? You, good day.